everybody, welcome back. All right, so I know it's been a while since we've done a lot talking about land navigation and everything, but I think it's time to get back on track. I know the last Sunday it was just an off day. I don't know what happened, and then of course the previous Sunday we did have our giveaway, and actually after this we are going to be doing our giveaway video. I do have the winner, and we're going to put that out there. And I've already reached out to the person, so he knows it's coming. I'm probably going to get that shipped out like Tuesday, maybe Wednesday morning, but we got that giveaway going out too. So, but anyway, where we left off when we're talking about land navigation was terrain features. Now, when you're looking at a map, it's important to understand the terrain features because, again, a map is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional world. And so it's important that you understand what you're looking at. And there's 5 major terrain features on a map. The first one that we're going to talk about are your hills. Now, a hill is an area of high ground, right? And I know it's like if you look out, you'll see like mountains and and like lower ones that are hills and everything. Well, a hill is that area of high ground, and pretty much it slopes down in every direction. So if you're right up on the top, and it slopes down in every direction, and so you're like right there on the tip top, that's a hill. Now, if you're looking at a map, this is represented by concentric circles, and the smallest circle will be on the top, and then the circles on the map will get larger as it goes down the hill. So, and then of course you do have to look at the map to know whether or not you're talking about feet, meters, the distance between each line. And so then each line will represent, let's say it's 10 feet. So if you've got 100 lines from the top of the hill down to the bottom, then that hill, when you're on the top, you're 100 foot higher than the base of the hill. And so that's how you're going to understand those lines, when you're talking about a hill. And then the next major terrain feature is going to be what's called a saddle. Now, on a map, the saddle is going to kind of look like an hourglass. So, what goes on with a saddle is that you kind of have like 2 hills. So imagine you have 2 hills. So you're going to have these two lines or two circles, and then you're going to have your as they go out, where they meet in the middle is going to kind of form like an hourglass type shape on the map, and the middle of that is your saddle. And that's represented by 2 high grounds on opposite sides, and then the other 2 opposite sides are low grounds. So you've got your low points, you've got a dip. So it's like, so if you've got a hill here and a hill here, this area in the middle, that's going to be your saddle. So, so you got hills, you got saddles, and then next up you have is a valley. Now what a valley is a groove in the land. It's usually caused by a stream or a river, some type of natural erosion. And basically you're going to have a high point, that's your upstream, and it has cut its way through the land. And so that's how you're going to get your valley. And you're going to have three points of high ground and 1 point of low ground. And the reason you have 3, and you might not realize that there's a third high point, because if upstream is you can't see the end of the stream of the river, right? But the river, the river's flowing past you, and so the stream of the river is going that way. You're looking that way. At some point in time, you're gonna have a high point where the stream starts at. Okay, so that's gonna be because water goes downhill. Water's gonna follow a downhill path, and so that's gonna be your 1 high point. And then with a valley, you're gonna have, on opposite sides of the stream, you're gonna have where the stream is cut through, you're going to have your high points over here. So you've got a high point, 2 more high points. You've got the one in the middle, the stream head, and then you get your two tops of the valleys, and then right down here in the middle. And then when you're falling downstream, that's going to be your low ground. So, and if you're looking on a map, that's going to be represented either there's going to be a U or a V, right? And the tip of the V or the U on the map, that's going to be your upstream high point. That's going to be where the water begins, and then wherever the water ends, that's where it comes out. But you follow the valley, downhill. That is a down low point slope on a map. So now then, the next major land feature is a ridge. Now this is not to be confused with a ridge line. Okay, a ridge line is like is like the whole series that you're looking at. Like if you look at a mountain range, like when we look at the Franklin Mountains, right? You can see like you can see like the whole mountains along the skyline. That's your ridge line. A ridge is just one of those. So, and basically, you've got three low points and a high point. So if you're like on the top of a ridge, you can look down and you've got like your 3 low points below you, and then you're right there on the top. And so, much like with a hill, it's represented by, you've got your high point and then you've got your concentric circles taking you downhill. It's just that, so that's the ridge, and that's usually but it's just a sloping area of high ground. That's kind of like that's the top. Now you have your hilltop, your hill, and then you have your sloping downhill. That's your ridge. And then the last major terrain feature that we're going to talk about was the last major terrain feature. There are 5 others. There's 3 minors and 2 supplementary, but we're going to talk about those in another video. The last one we're going to talk about today is going to be a depression. Now, a depression is a low point in the ground. This could be a sinkhole, it could be a man-made quarry, but it is a low point. So now, when you're in the bottom of a depression, everywhere is high. So you're at the bottom of like a pit, it's a sinkhole, and you'll be able to know this on a map because you're going to have your concentric circles, but you're going to have little tick marks that are pointing downwards. And then when you get down to the middle, you're going to have, just like with a hill, you're going to have your circle. You're going to have your circle at the bottom, and then every concentric line around that is going to have tick marks pointing into it. So it's like, so let's say that your hill is going to have, so this is your hilltop, right? That's your top of your hill, and then you're going to have your concentric circles going around. Well, if it was a depression, it's going to look like this. So with a depression, you're going to have that's your low point right there, and then you're going to have your tick marks pointing down towards the bottom part of your sinkhole, and that's depression. And so when you are dealing with maps, these five major terrain features, even if you just know these 5 major terrain features, it's going to make your life a lot easier, because when you're looking at that map, it's flat, it's 2-dimensional. But you have to understand these terrain features so that otherwise you find you're marching yourself into a mountain range, and you think you're going straight, and the next thing you know, you've got 1,000-foot walk uphill, and that can make for a bad day. So terrain features on a map are extremely important. So but that's it. That's your 5 major terrain features on a map. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing. I'd appreciate if you hit that like button. Go ahead and leave me a comment down below, because good, bad, or indifferent, that comment helps me out. It pushes the algorithm out, gets it out to more people. I do appreciate it. Keep watching and keep prepping.